Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. We are reviewing both of the Godzilla vs. Kong 2021 prequel graphic novels. The first one was Kingdom Kong, which was a King Kong book that we reviewed last time. This time we are reviewing Godzilla Dominion, the official prequel graphic novel to Godzilla vs. Kong. This one was pretty cool. I'm gonna read the back of the book for you real quick. The sequel to the motion picture Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019, and the graphic novel Godzilla Aftershock. Following the events of the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the Titans have risen and the reign of Godzilla has begun. This story takes us into Godzilla's world, with his habitats, ancient rivalries, encounters with new Titans, and other challenges. As his new era of dominance is tested, a coming confrontation with another king looms. But they can't say Kong's name, because then they gotta pay to license him in this book. Just like how they couldn't say King Ghidorah or Godzilla in the Kingdom Kong book, they won't say Kong in this book. So, Godzilla Dominion was written by Greg Keyes. You know, wrote a lot of Star Wars novels. And with art by Drew Edward Johnson, who worked on, like, Wonder Woman, and also did Godzilla Aftershock, actually. They carried over the artists. Godzilla Aftershock artist worked on this Godzilla book, and then the Kong Birth of Skull Island worked on Kingdom Kong. That artist did. You know? Good stuff. And the colors were by Alan Pasquale, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They worked on Batman and Godzilla's Aftershock as well. So Godzilla Dominion. First off, great art, just like the Kingdom Kong book. This one is basically just about Godzilla roaming the planet, beating the crap out of a bunch of kaiju. There are no human characters in this book. A bunch of people seem to want the Monsterverse to have movies with no human characters. I think that would suck. I think that would be terrible. That would be absolutely terrible. But yeah, so remember, Godzilla's lair of sorts got blown up in King of the Monsters 2019. So he's looking for a new one that has a lot of geothermal heat he can absorb to power himself. So he's like starving in this book, but he keeps having to fight kaiju. Like he has to wrestle a nuke away from Scylla. Remember Scylla? They were briefly in King of the Monsters. They're the big... I thought they were a spider. It appears they're probably more of a crustacean. They're drawn very crustacean-like in this book. Godzilla fights them. Don't worry, Scylla is still alive and can appear in films. Behemoth was in this book. Behemoth fought another kaiju, and Godzilla had to break that up as well. But we got to see Behemoth, who is one of my favorite Monsterverse kaiju. Like, out of all the original Monsterverse kaiju, he's easily the coolest one, in my opinion, even though we've barely seen him do anything. And then Godzilla goes back to where his old lair was to see if he can, like, salvage any heat or make a new one. And there's, like, a bunch of Hollow Earth piranha monsters led by one giant Hollow Earth piranha monster. And he roams just all around. He frees a very Mothra-esque, like, octopus kaiju that was pretty cool looking from a net. He had to kill some humans also, had to destroy some monarch people because they were trying to capture monsters. You know, let him roam. He does a lot of fighting in this book. Fights a big sea dragon monster called Tiamat. Hashtag D&D. Lots of crazy stuff. Lots of crazy stuff. But, yeah, by the end he finds more of a new home, but it's got, like, images of Kong and stuff in it, which, of course, pisses him off. We got several kaiju in this book. Of course, Godzilla himself was in it. We see a brief image of Kong. Scylla is in it. Gotta love that Greek mythology. There's one called Amhuluk. That's the one that fought Behemoth. It looks like a sea-based plant kaiju. Amhuluk. Nakika, which was the kind of octopus one that had a very Mothra-like face and some Mothra-like poses. Tiamat, the sea dragon, and Titanus Behemoth, which you know is like the big ground sloth with the mammoth tusks. But they don't give us the name of the piranha kaiju. That's the only one we don't get a name for, and it's very weird that that one was left out. I mean, it's easily the least interesting one, but still, if you're gonna give us art and names for all the kaiju in the back of the book, do it. Kingdom Kong gave us some pretty cool like Monarch monster files in the back for the two kaiju that were original to the book. Godzilla Dominion doesn't do that. It's a different creative team, of course. They didn't do that. They gave us pictures and images of all but one of them. Even the ones... And in this one, they did that for even the ones that were reoccurring. Because Scylla and Behemoth probably be forgettable to the average fan, to be completely honest. The only ones anyone's name would probably remember from this book is Kong and, of course, Godzilla himself, the star of the show. So yeah, this one's just a narrator talking about what Godzilla's doing, what he's thinking, what he's feeling. In a comic book, that kind of works, you know? I feel like that would be just a garbage movie. Really, I would. Unless it was done like kind of Blue Planet style, like David Attenborough. From David Attenborough. I do a bad David Attenborough. That'd be funny, like a kaiju nature documentary. That could be fun, actually. I think that would be enjoyable. Or about, but what would be more enjoyable is about a documentary crew, like going to the Hollow Earth to document stuff for Monarch. Not found footage style like Cloverfield. There could be some shots like that to show what they're seeing, but like the main thing would be just shot relatively normally. Be more dramatic than action-packed, honestly. But yeah, that is Godzilla Dominion. It reminded me a lot, the way it's written reminded me a lot of Godzilla in Hell. Remember how that one kind of just had some narration-y bits, and it didn't really have any dialogue or anything, and it was just Godzilla was the main character and not a human. The stories are always infinitely better with human characters, which gets me to the question you're all probably asking. Which is better out of the two Godzilla vs. Kong 2021 prequel graphic novels? Kingdom Kong or Godzilla Dominion? The answer is simple. Kingdom Kong is easily the more superior book. I feel like a lot more happens in Kingdom Kong. There's like a real human story that you can connect with. In Godzilla, you're like reading the Godzilla Dominion, and the whole time you're like, oh, I hope he finds a home. And that's like all you feel the whole time. Like you might be like, oh, cool, kaiju fight, but they're very short kaiju fights, and most of them are relatively easy for Godzilla. Also, like he didn't have a huge challenge in this book, to be honest. And then in Kingdom Kong, Kong did have trouble fighting his big kaiju. I think Godzilla Dominion made the mistake that lots of superhero movies make these days. You know how in a superhero movie, when they have like one villain, the villain is really awesome. But if the movie has like 3 villains, they're all shitty because there's not enough screen time for them to do anything, and the fights are all short, and they can't all be developed fully because they have to make time for the other villains, you know, like Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3, you know, things like that. Yeah. Or, you know, Batman and Robin would be a good example of that too, just to throw some DC in there. But, yeah, Godzilla Dominion kind of makes that mistake. There's so many new kaiju, and we love seeing new kaiju. Everyone loves seeing new kaiju, but maybe some should have just been background kaiju, and you should have focused more on, like, one big fight. Seeing Scylla and Behemoth, I think, was a good idea. I mean, you introduce these monsters in King of the Monsters, and if you just never used them again, that would be a huge waste, right? Those two were easily the most unique out of the new kaiju from that film, so I'm glad to see them again. Even if we just see them get their butts whooped by other kaiju. I was rooting for Behemoth when he was fighting that other monster, but he got wrecked. They beat the crap out of him. That other kaiju just smacked the crap out of Behemoth. So yeah, Kingdom Kong, very much superior to Godzilla Dominion, but Godzilla Dominion was not bad. It was a fun book. It was a very fun book. These are going right on my shelf with the rest of my MonsterVerse books. I enjoyed them both once again, but Kingdom Kong is the superior. So that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time.